Riddle me this, Bradley. What travels down an alley and has holes in it?
Birdman?
No. Bruce Wayne's parents.
Oh, dude, it's too soon.
Oh shit! No, we're probably going to get canceled now. So, anyways, let's. Okay, how can we distract people's minds? Oh, I got an idea. Let's do a spoiler review for the Batman 2022.
Sounds like a plan, Stan. Let's do it. Freaking
Yeah.
A. What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We're in for the good reels, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Bretman's right over there. The Batman from 2022, Matt Reeves, just came out. Bretman's already done a review for it for spoiler-free. We're going to be talking spoilers today about the movie. I just got out of the theater, actually. This is kind of more of a reaction for me, so I'm kind of going to be putting all my thoughts out there. Bretman's here. He's going to keep me in line. We're going to have a good time. But again, it is spoiler review here today. So if you haven't seen the movie, be sure to check that out first and then come back over here and watch this, Bretman. Man.
Yeah, and absolutely. And just in case, if you want to check out the spoiler-free review before you check out our spoiler review, right above my head right there. So I say without further ado, because I've been waiting since freaking Tuesday night, Brad, what do you like about the Batman?
Oh, there's a lot I like about this thing, man. There's a
Oh,
lot
I
I like
know.
about this thing. Yeah. So yeah, you guys know me. I tend to like the dark stuff. I like the crazy stuff. Seven's one of my favorite movies of all time. This is right there in that same realm. With the Batman character, which is also my favorite superhero of all time. So really, it's a perfect freaking mix for me. Yeah, I love how freaking dark this movie gets right off the freaking the bat. No pun intended. Don't even start with me, Brett. Don't say anything. Right off the bat, this thing goes freaking dark as hell with a brutal murder with a freaking carpet hammer or whatever the fuck it was. And man, it was freaking wild, man. It was wild. And it keeps that tone throughout. It keeps that freaking it does. We've heard the comparisons already to Seven and Zodiac. It very much feels like that, man.
And the
I
Crow.
felt
I'll even throw the Crow in there.
that's fair. Yeah, the Crow too. It very much feels like that. You got the rain coming in the whole time. This moody freaking atmosphere in here with the rain, just like Seven. The whole movie's just raining. It's dark. You got these brutal murder scenes. And Batman is the detective on the scene, which is just. I mean, I've been clamoring for this ever since Arkham Knight came out, and we have to go investigate these dudes hung up all over the city, these brutal murders, and yeah, I'm like, I would love to see this in a live action movie, and here it is, man. Here it freaking is.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. And just to hear the breathing of the Riddler at the beginning of the movie, kind of like doing some Michael Myers stuff, that is freaking awesome. Creates a very uncomfortable atmosphere right off the gates. And yeah, dude, like you've been saying, like with our what's awesome about with the Batman movies, creating that freaking atmosphere, creating the world of Gotham, and we are creating a brand new world of Gotham. And dude, it freaking fits with this movie. Matt Reeves gets Batman, absolutely, and we'll keep explaining why that is because again, great job by Matt Reeves, man. But I gotta ask you, man, I'm ready for this one. What do you think of Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, aka the Batman?
Dude, he knocks it out of the park as Batman here. Bruce, as far as Bruce goes, like I probably could have like. There's more development there for the character of Bruce Wayne. Like he was a very small part of this movie. But when he's freaking Batman, which is like most of the time, he is freaking all cylinders, man. To me, I'm not going to go out and say this is the best Batman yet, but I will tell you this for sure. This is the most intimidating Batman. This is the scariest Batman we've seen in live action for me anyway. He's the most interesting as well as the Bat when he's dressed out in the suit. So we saw, oftentimes in these movies, the villain outdoes Batman in the movie. They still the show like the Joker and even Bane in Christopher Nolan's trilogy. the Joker in Tim Burton's movie and all that. Like they steal the show. But here in this movie, I think Batman he's the core focus. He's the most interesting thing going on, and I think Robert Pattinson's a big reason for that. He brings a very intense presence with his portrayal here.
Yeah, and I finally say this, but Bruce Wayne, not I would say not the greatest, but again, he was hardly in the movie, so he probably didn't even get a chance to freaking shine. And I thought, again, just okay, but yeah, you can obviously tell right off the bat that this movie is just pretty much if you want the Batman, you're gonna get the Batman, and you're gonna get him a dark. Just dark, brutal as all hell. He really deserves the name Vengeance after this movie for sure. But what got me super excited is he got to finally show that he is indeed the world's greatest detective.
Absolutely, he did,
And
man.
I've
Like
been
he's
begging
like
it for years to see that type of Batman film of detective work. So I was just on like freaking edge of my seat going, yes, we were finally getting this kind of Batman.
I loved it. Yeah, yeah, it very is in line with the Arkham games. Like it is, but obviously a little bit more dark, a little bit more gritty. But yeah, like he's busting these riddles out, no problem. Like he's figuring them out, he's getting them all done, and yeah, I know he's doing this thing like he's going deep in the investigation, man. He's going to the freaking the iceberg lounge. He's figuring that shit out, and like he's putting all the pieces together, and it's such a fun ride to see. And it comes together piece by piece, very much like Seven did. And man, it's so cool to see Batman doing all that and actually
Yeah.
be Batman.
Dude, absolutely, and just how this movie kind of plays out. With kind of like the beginning, it's all about the Riddler. More towards like the middle act, it's all about like the Penguin. More towards the second half of the second act, it's all about freaking Falcone. And then, of course, the last act is right back to the Riddler. And all three villains do a very damn good job, which again, I said in my spoiler free review, I think the MVP of this movie is the Riddler, Paul Dano. And I still stand by that statement because I will officially say this now since this is a spoiler review. I mentioned that there's a particular scene that freaking rivals with the interrogation scene of The Dark Knight between Joker and Batman. And that's the freaking encounter between the Batman and the Riddler when the Riddler's in his little prison cell.
That's badass.
Dude, I think I got freaking chills, and I will never, ever in the rest of my life freaking hear Ana Maria, the music, that song, ever the same.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm just
know
kidding.
that
You
was
don't want to hear me
crazy.
sing.
No, we don't want to do that. But it was super intense in the lighting there. Batman was dark. He was in the shadow. It was so freaking awesome. And yeah, I mean, Paul Dano I thought was fantastic, but I'm blown away by Colin Farrell in this thing as the
Mhm.
Penguin, man. Like he was not. I knew it was Colin Farrell, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't know that going in. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea. Like he looked. He's not recognizable. And even with his performance, his voice and his accent and everything in between, like it was like he did a solid job as the Penguin. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of that character if they do. They're going to do sequels. I'm looking forward to hopefully that character comes back and gets kind of worked in some more because he was cool. I really liked his character in this thing.
Oh yeah.
And man, it was dope, man. But Paul Dano was creepy as fuck, like like he always is, like he was in Prisoners, dude.
Yeah, dude, and he freaking just nails the whole character of the Riddler, but he just wants to be known. And then when Batman just gets in his head a little bit and goes, "You're not going to be remembered," major freak out. Like it was absolutely spectacular. And Colin Farrell, like I said before, you get freaking that special effects makeup team like a freaking raise and a reward for transforming Colin Farrell into the Penguin. That is freaking awesome.
He
And
didn't even have to eat any raw fish to do the role,
oh no, he
like
didn't do that. He didn't do that, or like stuff like that. And dude, did you notice when they freaking like duct tape him, he wobbled a little bit, kind of like a
that did,
penguin.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah, that was,
I absolutely laughed my ass off because I was like, oh, there's our penguin little
yeah.
nod right there. But yeah, the only last ever. Actually, I want to ask you about two more characters. Of course, we got to talk about Catwoman and Zoe Kravitz. and James Gordon with Jeffrey Wright. Freaking the guy, your boy from
Felix. Yeah, Felix
Felix.
Leiter. Yeah.
Yeah, from the Daniel Craig Bond era. So yeah, tell me about those two characters.
I loved them both. I think Catwoman, she was, I mean, I really enjoyed her character a lot. I kind of wish she was used a little bit more, but I get it. It was 3 hours. It's setting everything up. Like it's already long as fuck. I would have liked to see more of her though. It almost feels like she was underutilized at times, but I really enjoyed what we got. I think she'll come back down the road too. And I'm good with that. But from what we had on screen, I thought she did a really good job. And I really appreciated her backstory and the way she worked with Bruce, with Batman, I should say. This is Batman. This ain't Bruce anymore. This is Batman, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
The way she worked with Batman, I thought was really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes going forward. They had that thing at the end where they split up. She's going to come back, right? She's got to come back.
Of course.
Yeah. So I thought she was really good. Very good portrayal. And looking forward to seeing where that goes. Commissioner Gordon, I loved. I thought he was fantastic. I loved the partnership between him and Batman. I loved that. They really did feel like they were in it together, and they were the only two people that they could trust. And they said that in the movie, and I really like that partnership and that dynamic between them. And he punches him in the face, and he says, "You could have pulled that, friend."
I was pulling it. Oh, dude, that was great. But yeah, with Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Zoe, phenomenal job. I'll just kind of say, but I kind of don't like the twist that she's the daughter of Carmine Falcone. Because I've never really heard that before, like in the whole Batman story. Again, I'm not very knowledgeable in the Batman comics, so just let me know in the comment section down below if that is actually accurate, or if that's just something that like they're just like doing, like changing up the story a little bit. I wasn't the biggest fan of that reveal, but that's just me. But here's how I'll describe Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer has the best outfit for Catwoman. Anne Hathaway is the best Selena Kyle, but the actual best Catwoman is Zoe. Kind of like doing the actions, the whip, and just being conniving. Like, who are you under there? Like stuff like cool stuff like that. That's the best way I can describe all the Catwomans. My ranking of them real quick, because it's pretty much their type. But Zoe just has a presence to her, and she really nails the Catwoman. And then of course James Gordon. I'm not sure how you can do better than Gary Oldman. I just want him to be himself, like, and bring something new into the James Gordon character, and he actually does that. Jeffrey Wright did a really good job.
He does, man. He fills that role. He did so well with Bond as well, as being that kind of that partner in crime there, and he does such a good job. Another thing, going back to Catwoman, I really enjoyed was she was brutal, man. Like, she was like, "Oh, don't worry, I got 9 lives." She was going to blow that dude's head off, and I like the fact that she was going to go there, and she brought that kind of just. She doesn't give a fuck attitude to it. She's going to go out for vengeance. She actually, like, she was going to go freaking tear shit up. And I like that. And I think that sets up for some good character arcs. And I think, again, I'm really looking forward. If they do a sequel, that's going to be the number one thing I'm going to looking for is to see her come back and continue to grow.
Oh yeah, dude, and last note on her is just freaking sex appeal, like right off the charts too. Like, she just has that beautiful presence that really helps the Catwoman character, kind of like lure in her like pawns and her victims.
Yeah, she did do that. She did plenty of that there in the club, for sure.
Oh yeah, at the club, it's going down. But yeah, but shoot, freaking but yeah, man, what's just about like all the riddles, man? Oh, sorry, real quickly, Alfred. That's actually a negative for me. I was just not into that Alfred at all. Like, even though the hospital scene, because the Riddler, again, spoiler, the Riddler found out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, which I thought that was cool.
Well, he didn't.
Oh, he kept saying. I could have swore I thought he actually did, because like he actually sent the package. Actually, you know what?
He sent it to Bruce Wayne to kill him, and then you thought he was talking to Bruce in the hospital. This is brilliant, I thought. In the hospital, he kept saying Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "We tried to kill him, but we didn't do it." That was a good little twist there. Like, I mean, you could maybe make the argument that maybe he did know, but like but he played it off. I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
Okay.
I think
That's based off first watch. I got that indicator, so maybe on a second watch, I can like listen to a few of the details, and
yeah.
that might actually be right because I can actually see it both ways. So that's actually a pretty good job, like making like both sides of the argument. Like, oh, he actually does know, or maybe he doesn't, and just us not knowing. That's I like that.
Yeah. You could take it either way. The package, I don't think he knew because he sent he had the Batman envelope, but he has that all of the murder sites
Hmm.
and he had it in the fireproof thing. But in the hospital later, it was setting up that tension. Like he figured it out. Bruce Wayne, and Batman was freaking out, and then he looked over and he saw that, or he ended up saying that we tried to kill him or whatever, but he got away or whatever he said. But
Hmm.
it was cool.
But Alfred Foe, he was just okay, Foe. Like I'd definitely take the ever Alfreds over Andy Circus. I would just easily for me. I even though I thought they didn't really use him that much, I think he was only there just to do that particular hospital scene to give like Bruce a little bit of a heart, versus
Yeah.
just being a cold-hearted prick. Which that's pretty much what Bruce was in this movie. He didn't give a shit about nothing except for bat work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's his lifeblood. I thought Alfred was decent. There's potential there. Again, he wasn't used a lot. I like the fact that he was kind of helping with the investigations pretty heavily, deciphering the messages and the riddles and all that. I really like that. That was really cool. I mean, Andy Serkis is great. I think there's potential there. This is still I feel it kind of still feels like a setup kind of movie. So I think we're going to see more of Alfred, and I think there's room for them to grow. But yeah, I mean, obviously, right off the gate, I mean, Michael Caine is still going to be like, you can't beat Michael Caine as Alfred. I
No,
don't think.
absolutely not. But yeah, just the whole like Riddler stuff, and then just that ultimate third act where freaking the Riddler floods the damn city, and just to get everybody like into that one place of Gotham Square Garden, not Madison Square Garden, and just to kill everybody right there, and then of course Batman comes in and saves the day. But dude, all that is just freaking crazy. I never expect that out of the Riddler, but dude, that was freaking intense.
It was intense, and I tell you, you had some fantastic Batman sequences there, man. First off, when you get all the Riddlers up there on the roof, just freaking sniping fools and shotguns and whatever they had up there, that was cool. That was a cool idea to have this kind of cult following, like this internet cult following of the
Hmm.
Riddler, and because I could see that, and they all go out there to do their thing, and Batman shows up. The moment when he throws the smoke out or the fire extinguisher blows up or
Yeah.
whatever, and he goes out, that was freaking badass, and he goes out there. It was brief. It was very brief, but that was really cool. And the fight sequence up on the beams and stuff was done really well.
Hmm.
Again, it's a little bit beyond what you're saying here, but the action sequences, the combat was better. It's as good as it's ever been. It's better than it's ever been,
Right.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I think Nolan did a lot of things fantastic, but the combat wasn't really there for the most part compared to this. This was brutal as shit. The fight sequences were good. They were shot with style too. The scene where he's walking down, he's in the trailer where he's getting shot from
Yeah.
dude, like in and you're only seeing the flash of the guns. That's the only light you have. That was freaking creative filmmaking right there. That was awesome.
Dude, it's so damn awesome. And did you even catch when friggin' Batman got shot and he got that little thing and he inject himself?
Yeah, dude. Little
You want to know what? Do you know what I think that was?
what
I
was it?
think that could be a little hint in the future if they go that far with some little Venom serum. You know, the same stuff that they Bane gets his powers and all that in the comics.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I
Yeah, just
like
because
that.
we know
Yeah,
how batshit crazy, like again, no pun intended, but how batshit crazy he went and beat the shit out of that thug.
he did.
Dude, yeah,
It,
that's that freaking Venom. Like, you just can't control it unless if you really like, or just are used to it. But holy hell, man! I thought like he was getting ready to break his one rule.
I thought so too. A couple times, and that's one thing I also liked about Batman in this movie is the fact that he is brutal. He's beating the shit out of people, but he still has his rule that Batman always has. Whereas like in the Zack Snyder stuff, he was murking people straight up, which is fine. I like that. That was good. But I like it. I like this version of the character that at least still has that that stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only other last thing I want to talk to you about, and this is the big, like, kind of like a big spoiler, because it lays the future of the Batman movies, potentially the sequel. We get a particular character introduction towards the end, and a lot of people complain that there wasn't an end credit scene. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this thing I'm about to talk about was sort of that end credit scene. After Batman saves everybody, they could have ended the movie right then and there, but no, they decided to give you a little bit more in the asylum with the Riddler talking to his cellmates. A little bit of a funny guy. What about the Joker?
Dude, that was crazy, man. So here's kind of where I'm at with the situation. I liked it as a standalone scene. I kind of don't want to see the Joker yet, just because like we've done the Joker, this multiple times now. We're still working on the Joaquin thing, by the way. They're still doing that. So like I obviously I would be pumped if they did a Joker movie next, but I also just kind of want to go a different direction. But in that one standalone scene, it was awesome. Just seeing him over there in Arkham doing his own thing, kind of freaking out and meeting the Riddler for the first time. Like that was really cool. Um,
Yeah, you didn't
and
really get to see his face either. Only thing you got to really see is his eyes. So
yes,
we don't like know what he's going to look like, and I love that kind of like the introduction. He does his little laugh, so I'm kind of
yes.
wondering like who that actor is. I need to look that up. I just think they hit that kind of detail until the movie actually comes out. But I'm with you, though. I don't need the Joker right now. Again, I love the idea someone brought up. Let's bring in Mr. Freeze. We need to do an actual Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze. And I feel like Matt Reeves can deliver it in this particular Batman world without it getting too like what we call over the top. Or
As long as
hell,
they
freaking
bring
Poison
Arnold back.
Ivy. Or I even love your one right there at the Scarecrow. Scarecrow would be an excellent inclusion in this particular Batman world.
Oh, it would. It would fit. It would fit. I would like to see Poison Ivy come back. I mean, I think she's a very good villain. That obviously just didn't get utilized very well in the last time. But there's so many good. That's one thing about the Batman world. There's so many rich villains. There's so many different directions they could go.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if the Joker comes back, I'm going to be I'm going to be jacked about it. I love the Joker. He's the best villain of all time. I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see maybe go a different direction first or whatever. But if they want to
Yeah,
do it,
just take your
whatever.
time with it.
Yeah, I'll be there either way. But yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah, the look looked really interesting though. Like it kind of looked more like the classic Joker look. The kind of the Mark Hamill video game look with the
Yeah,
scars
like
and
the freak.
everything.
Yeah, I was about to say it does look like the Arkham game Joker.
Yes, which I did like a lot. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Yeah, and again with the Scarecrow, I'm just imagining right now if you freaking want Batman in as a horror movie, you gotta do that Scarecrow, like because I feel like that's the only way I can see that happening. And with Matt Reeves and his vision and creativity, that could be a strong possibility.
I think so too, man. I would be stoked for that. I think you could do a lot of really dark stuff with it in this universe, and it would really work. I think that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And sorry, last thing, and then we'll wrap up here. It was a 3 hour movie. Did that bother you at all?
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, it's always tough to late at night to get through. Sometimes a longer movie, but it kept my attention the whole time. I was very
Mhm.
fully invested in what they were doing. Didn't bother me at all. They didn't start thing like they skipped the whole origin thing, which is cool because we've seen it. We know what it is, and they thrust us right into this, kind of early in his career Batman story. And that being said, I still was very invested in what they were doing. Invested.
Yeah, I was invested too, and I usually complain about long movies unless if it's just something I really love or you really got me interested. And this movie did both of them, keep me really interested, and I love Batman. So it could have been 4 hours, and I would have just sat there all happy.
I would have done it. That Batman's so rich. Like 4 hours of just this would be to me more compelling than like Justice League. You
Hmm.
know, like
Oh,
I just
absolutely.
this is yes, it's awesome. Um, just a couple more things that I really enjoyed about it is we mentioned earlier at the beginning is kind of the world of Gotham they built here. I thought this did a really good job of mixing the comic book feel with the realistic vibes. I thought it was kind of a perfect combination of the two. You still kind of felt like it was a comic book world, but it wasn't like so over the top. It felt cartoonish. It still felt very real. It still felt very like a real Gotham. But yeah, it didn't feel like it was just a very common like it felt like a unique city that that Gotham should feel like, which I really enjoyed.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I just like Gotham in this one because it's just like it really just fits the style of the story of Batman that we're going with on this one. Because if you kind of use this Gotham for like Christopher Nolan or Tim Burton, I don't think it would have worked quite as well. But for this one, where it's just more detective driven, I was really digging it.
Yeah, it felt dirty, dude. It felt freaking just crime filled. Like you could just kind of feel that, but it didn't necessarily it didn't feel fake. You know, it still
Right.
felt real.
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything else, Brad?
Yeah, one more thing. That freaking opening, man. When everybody when we're talking when Batman when he says they think I'm in the shadows, but I am the shadows, dude. That was
Oh,
brilliant. That
dude,
was
the
freaking
narrating. Hell yeah.
yes, that was great writing right there, and that's true. Like they everybody like the way they shot that whole sequence where they're just looking into the shadows, and Batman never pops out, but they have that they like okay he could though like that's what they're thinking in their
Mhm.
head, and they're all running off. That was brilliant, and that set Batman up. That whole opening narration set Batman up like you would set up a villain. It set Batman up to be this intimidating freaking figure before we even saw him. And when he finally walks out, we're like, damn, man, this guy's a fucking badass. So usually we get that kind of treatment with the villains where they're like talking him up and stuff. But this time it's with Batman, and it pays off.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely that does. And like I even thought like for a split second, I'm like, that's freaking Michael Myers if he were able to say words.
He would say it. He would say that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, I just remembered the last thing. The score I thought was absolutely terrific.
It was great. Yeah, it was fan. It was dark, and
Is
it
it
really hit.
Hans Zimmer level good? No, but I didn't want it to be Hans Zimmer. I wanted to again be its own thing, and it was absolutely great. Especially like with Catwoman, this Catwoman theme is good. The Riddler
Yes.
theme is great, and of course that Batman with the burn. All that is just awesome.
Yeah, 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 and it's the yes, it was super it fit the movie. It fit the vibe of this crime, this murder mystery that we were following here. This dark, rainy, dirty vibe. Like it really fit that very well. It wasn't like a superhero theme like we get from Hans Zimmer before and stuff like this and Danny Elfman before that. It wasn't some like grand like inspirational music that you would necessarily run to or work out to or whatever. This is something that's kind of dark and grimy.
Hmm.
And I just one more thing I also enjoyed the kind of get a little more backstory on Bruce's parents. There wasn't a lot of Bruce to kind of lean on here, but we kind of got a little bit of information about his parents, and I thought that was kind of interesting, and it took some twists that I didn't see coming, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting those details about Thomas and Martha Wayne, and that they
Yeah.
weren't actually what we call the best of people. When all of Bruce's life, he looked up to him because that's we're always getting a positive Thomas and Martha, but in this one, they weren't just as good people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
so
I mean, there were some mixed messages there and everything, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was cool just to kind of learn more about it and see why Bruce is just so like he is who he is, man. It was wild.
mm,
It was good.
hell yeah, absolutely. So Brad, let's go ahead and rate this bad boy and give your overall thoughts. Actually, I'll go first because I want you to build up the anticipation. And plus I've been wanting to say this since that I watched the movie. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5. It's not perfect. It does have some of its issues, but 4.5 to me is still a really damn strong score into the Batman world. And I'm happy, and I'm just overall just super excited. Love Detective Batman. He freaking the Batcave. He actually has a back computer doing shit, and that's awesome. So I cannot wait to see the future of Matt Reeves as Batman.
I can't either, man. I think once again, I'm going with a 5 on this thing. I don't know where I'm going to rank it. I have no idea where it's going to go in the ranking. The ranking is a fucking dumpster fire at this point. But I can say for sure that I like this. It's right up with right up with the best of them. It's right up there with the Nolan trilogy for me. This is just a perfect mix for me of dark freaking crime and Batman, and just seeing Batman take the forefront and finally taking the main stage is awesome. So I'm going to go 5 again.
Oh my gosh, a golden reel from the Brad man. So, unfortunately, with my 4.5 to your 5, that's a 4.75. So that is extremely high. Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker.
Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker.
Woo!
Hell yeah. So, guys, that's our thoughts on the Batman. So, be sure to stay tuned to our channel because what's next to end the whole Batman franchise series we're doing, it'd be the Batman rankings. So, be sure to stay tuned on that. But to close out, what did you all think about the Batman 2022? Do you think it's the greatest Batman we've ever seen on the big screen to date? Or do you have some problems with it that doesn't actually make it the best? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you don't have good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Those links are down below for you to find.
Absolutely. And once again, if you want to know when that ranking video and all of our future videos and of course our real March Madness tournament, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe, and of course ring that bell, ding ding ding, so you all know when the next set of videos and live streams are up and ready.
Right, you are.
Alrighty, so riddle me. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't have any more riddles, so we're gonna get on out here.
Thank goodness, dude. I can't handle those.
See you guys.